They say koi keeping is an addiction, and once the hooks are in, you're done for. What begins as a simple curiosity soon becomes a full-blown obsession, a hobby that fills your mind, your weekends, and eventually your whole garden. And for David, that couldn't be more true. His pond featured in Volume 2 of World of Nishikigoi Magazine, so I thought I'd dig up some ancient footage and share part of his story in this video. It's one of patience, learning, and 5 different ponds. I first met David back in 2015 when I was working with Nikki Murrell at Imperial Koi, the same Nikki who would later help David realise his dream pond. Even back then, David had that unmistakable spark only true koi lovers understand. You know, that just one more koi kind of energy. Over the few years I knew him, I saw his pond and his passion evolve, and believe me, it was quite the journey. The first pond was a simple ornamental setup. The second saw a larger pond built to its rear, connected by a shallow stream. It worked beautifully until the system became, well, how would you say it, rather well stocked. The connecting stream was then enlarged, creating one large pond, and everything ticked along nicely. But as the koi grew, the filters were pushed to their limit. A drum filter was eventually installed to handle the high stocking levels, but in 2019 a decision was made for a total rebuild. Nikki redesigned the system, and David finally got the pond he'd been dreaming of. 12,000 gallons, 3 aerated bottom drains, 2 Profi drums, a Baki shower with BHM, and a heat pump to keep the water steady year round. The equipment sits out of sight in a dedicated filter house, while subtle underwater returns mean no ugly splashing, just calm, crystal clear water. When I walked into David's garden to see the new pond, I couldn't help but stop. The pond feels so grand, larger than its footprint, framed by beautiful landscaping that ties seamlessly into the property. The pergola gives it height and practical shade, while the overhanging patio, a feature from the very first pond, adds a touch of character and intrigue. It's bold, yet blends perfectly into its surroundings. When I asked David how it all started, he laughed. It began with goldfish and lilies, he said, and then I visited a local koi dealer. I went in for fish food and came out with my first koi. I think that's a story most of us can relate to. He's honest about his involvement too. I didn't build the pond myself, he admits. I left it to the professionals, Imperial Koi for the pond and well-tended gardens for the planting. They both did a fantastic job. His brief to Nikki was simple: create a pond that complements the garden and serves the koi. If you look closely, you can still see hints of the old design, a circular remnant of the old pond at the one end, a nod to where it all began. David's hobby was always driven by his joy of raising koi, seeing them grow, change, and surprise him. He developed a real love for unusual varieties. I used to chase Gosanki, he said, but with extremely hard water they'd often go downhill, so I started expanding my horizons. David collected different and unusual koi, so the pond became a vibrant mixture of colour. I like finding varieties I haven't got yet, he said. When I asked him about his favourite koi, he hesitated. They're all my pets, he said, but probably my Sorogoi. At 97 centimetres, she's a monster and has such a presence you can't take your eyes off her. It wasn't about prestige for David, it was about connection. He'd raised most of his koi from small sizes, and that's where he got his satisfaction. David's advice to fellow hobbyists was to keep it simple. Invest in your filtration, he said. Some people spend all the money on koi and skimp on the system, but a good filter pays for itself. Build your pond around your koi and build your koi collection slowly. It's hard to argue with that kind of logic. When I visited David's final pond, it was easy to forget how far his journey had taken him. In an ideal world, we'd all build our perfect pond the first time, but that's not how it works. The truth is, koi keeping is an evolution. As our knowledge grows, our ponds evolve with us. Technology changes, our tastes refine, and before we know it, we're tearing up the garden again, chasing the next dream. And maybe that's what the hobby is really about. Not perfection, but progression. A lifetime of learning, a touch of obsession, and the quiet joy of watching our koi thrive in a home we build for them. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like and subscribe as it helps the channel grow. In the meantime, I'll leave you with one of the best sounds in the koi hobby.
There's Soragoi, he's posing. He's got his mouth right down the lens.